All right, so today I'm going to provide you with a quick tutorial on how to use AI. I've seen a lot of people use it incorrectly and then get really frustrated with it. So let's get started. I've been in the tech industry for a little over 10 years, network engineering, voice engineering, and programming. As of late, I'd say about 3 or 4 years now, I've had the opportunity to implement AI in some of my programs. So let's start talking about prompt engineering. What exactly is that? Prompt engineering is it's the art and science of crafting the perfect question or command to get the most accurate, relevant, and useful response from artificial intelligence. In other words, it's a way for you to properly formulate your question so you can get exactly what you need from AI. That's basically what it means. For instance, let's say if you were in person and you were to walk up to somebody and then you were to say something like, write me a response saying that I'm not interested. Well, for one, they're going to look at you like you're crazy because there's no context behind that statement, right? So a lot of people do things like that. You don't want to do that. Here's another example. Explain how to negotiate a salary. The reason why this is a bad prompt is because the advice or the explanation that you're going to get from somebody in regards to salary negotiation will depend. You're going to get a different response from somebody who's a CEO of $1 billion company as opposed to a friend who just got their first job. Okay, so now we're going to run through some live examples here. Here's my own personal Gemini account. I'm using the professional version, just a personal preference. What we're about to do here today, it's not specific for Gemini. You could do this with Llama from Meta, and you can also do this with OpenAI's ChatGPT. Just to let you know, I am not getting any kickbacks from Google. I'm not associated with Google in any form or fashion. This is just my personal preference. I found Gemini to be, top notch. So the first thing that you want to do when you're communicating with AI is you're going to have to give it a persona, right? Why do you want to do this? Well, because Gemini, it has a wealth of information to provide to you. And so what we want to do is we want to narrow down that information so we increase our chances of getting exactly what we need. Okay? So for instance, let's say that I don't know, you're having some issues with your landlord. Okay? You're a tenant, you live in a building of like 20 or 50 complexes, apartments, I don't know. And then they're refusing to make repairs. Okay, so what you need to do is, you're going to have to draft up a letter letting them know that, you're requesting for them to make repairs, and whatnot. But you're not good at writing letters. You're pretty bad at it. Your grammar's bad. You have run-on sentences. So instead of having to pay money, you just come to Gemini, right, and have them do it. Okay, so let's start off by giving it a few personas. What's the first persona we're going to give it? Well, we need somebody who knows how to write letters. Okay, so let's do this. You are a professional writer with, let's say, 40 years experience. Okay, that's persona number one. What's the next thing that we need? We also need for them to be a tenant and landlord lawyer, right? You are also a tenant landlord lawyer for the state of New York. I'm out here based in New York, so this is what I'm using. You are also well versed in the tenant rights for the state of New York. The reason why I did this is because I want to make sure that it understands what exactly I need from it, right? Let's add a little something extra, right? In your experience, although you are qualified to represent tenants and landlords right? Check this out. Check this out. 80% of your cases were for the tenants. Why did I do this? Well, if you were in person, if you went in person to a tenant and landlord lawyer, right? And you're the tenant, you want a landlord that is typically in favor of tenant rights, right? You don't want somebody who's typically in favor of landlords. So this is what I'm doing with this here, right? I want it to be a landlord that typically represents tenants, right? Let's hit enter. Okay, it took a little bit of time for it to generate a response. Just so you know, this is the same response that I provided before, right? Now let's see what it says. Okay, as a seasonal attorney in the trenches of New York housing courts for decades, I've seen the landscape tenant and landlord law shift and evolved. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so here, I'm glad this happened live, right? So right now it stated nothing. It stated nothing about it being a writer, right? It's acting like a lawyer. Okay, so to make sure that I get everything that I need, here's what I'm going to do. Let's say you provided information about your experience as a lawyer, right? Thank you for that. You want to speak to it as if you're speaking to a real person, okay? You provided a lawyer, okay, so, but I also need to make sure that you are qualified to write professional letters. Right. Are you able to do that as well? Let's see what it says. It's taking its sweet time here. Okay. Let's see what it says. That is an excellent question. I'll zoom in for you guys to see it. My first experience, a lot of ability to articulate. Okay, so good. So we're going to get exactly what we need. Okay. My 40 years as a writer and an attorney. Okay, so now we made sure that it has these both personas. Okay, so let's go and let's draft up a letter. Right, I'm having some issues with rodents. I've been having this issue for, I don't know, 20 days. I need for you to draft up a letter to the landlord, to my landlord, advising of the issue. They have not responded to my concerns. Wait, they have not responded to my phone calls regarding this issue. Okay? What else do we want to say? We want to say the letter should not be too threatening, as a landlord is quite nice. This is just some random stuff, right? These are some of the things that you can really fine tune how AI provides you information. Okay, as they're quite nice, but we need for the letter to come across as a very urgent issue. Right? The letter should not be too long. It needs to be very concise. and simple to read, simply because my landlord does not speak English very well. Boom. Let's hit enter. Let's see what it gives us. Check it out. Look at this. So I'm gonna take a copy of this and I'm gonna put this in the description so you can see exactly what it is that it did. I'm not gonna read it out. You guys might be read it already, but but so it gave me exactly what it is that I needed. All right, so now I can use this and I can send this over to, if I was having an issue with my landlord, I send it over to my landlord. All right, now let's jump into something else. Let's say I turn around and I started asking for it. Let's say I asked AI, I need for you to give me all the sections of the human heart. Right? Why is this a problem? The reason why this is a problem is because it's like you going to a mechanic and asking it to give you all the different types of teeth that are inside your mouth. It's like you going to a doctor and asking it to provide you with all the tools associated with fixing an engine. Doesn't make any sense, right? Remember, earlier we gave this AI the persona of a lawyer and a professional writer. Okay, so now let's take a step back away from AI for a bit. Let's say that you were in person. You're a med student, and you need to know all the different sections of the human heart. And you have two people sitting in front of you. You have a general physician, and then you also have a heart surgeon. Now, granted, both of these people should know this information, but who's more likely to know all the different sections of the heart? You're going to choose the heart surgeon. Okay? So now, how do we get Gemini to clear the previous persona to adopt a new persona of a heart surgeon? Simple. We just say, clear your history as I'm about to give you a new persona. Let's see what it says. Understood? I'm ready for a new persona. Here, check this out. See that? Oops, sorry. Look at that. So now, I probably should have did the video like this. Would have been better. So now let's give it, you are a former, no, let's say current heart surgeon with, I don't know, let's say 40 years experience. Okay. You are also no, that's basically it. Hit enter. Here, check this out. Look at that. Okay, so that's basically it. Working with AI is very, very simple. It's not complicated. You just have to make sure you're providing the right context, you're providing it a persona, and you're very, very specific as to what you're asking it to do. Let's finish off the example by asking for different hearts, just for completion's sake. And yeah, again, this isn't just for Gemini. It's also, you could do this with OpenAI's ChatGPT, and you can also do this with Llama, and of course DeepSeek. And here's all the different sections. Beautiful. And that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. You know the deal. See you guys.